and safety standards so that we don't have our children chewing on toys with lead paint brought in from other countries. And I will not raise the minimum wage every 10 years. We will raise it to keep pace with inflation every year, because I believe that if you work in this country, you should not be poor. And when I am President of the United States, we are going to work on making sure that everybody has a living wage. If you are ready for change, we can make sure that every child in America has the best education this country has to offer, from the day they are born till the day they graduate from college. We know what to do. The problem is not that we don't know how to teach. The problem is we don't have a sense of urgency. We think, well, some child in the inner city, that's not my child, that's not my problem. That's those children. Some child in rural communities in an underfunded school, that's not my problem. That's those children. They are not those children. They are all our children. We all have responsibilities to make sure every child in America gets an education. And so we are going to invest in early childhood education to make sure that every child is prepared when they start school. And I won't just talk about how great teachers are, I will reward them for their greatness by paying them higher salaries and giving them more support.
Yes!
And we will have the highest standards for education, because our children are going to have to compete with children in China and India. They're going to have to learn math and science. We're going to have to be much more serious about our education system, but we're not just going to measure high standards with a single high-stakes test.
Say that, sir!
Because we don't want teachers teaching to the test. We want our children also learning art and music and poetry and history. We want them to learn citizenship.
This man is preaching.
If you're ready for change, then we can start having an energy policy that makes sense.
Yes.
Because our current energy policy makes no sense.
I can't pay it.
We send $1 billion to foreign nations because of our addiction to foreign oil, and we are melting the polar ice caps in the bargain. You're paying the highest gas prices you've ever paid. ExxonMobil made $11 billion this quarter. So if we are ready for change, then we will cap the emission of greenhouse gases that are causing global warming. And we will generate billions of dollars that we invest in solar and wind and biodiesel. And we hire young men and young women in the inner cities to start insulating buildings and making them more energy efficient. And we create jobs and green technologies. And we can create a clean, green economy that powers economic growth for generations to come. Tapping into innovation, tapping into technology that has always been the hallmark of America. And we can raise fuel efficiency standards on cars. If we raised them just to 40 miles per gallon, we would save the equivalent of all the oil we import from the Persian Gulf. Imagine what that would do, not just for our economy, not just for the environment, but also for our national security. And by the way, when I made that proposal, I didn't do it in front of the Sierra Club or some environmental group. I did it in Detroit, in front of the automakers. And I told them they had to change their ways. And I have to admit, the room was really quiet. Nobody clapped. But that's okay, because part of what we need from the next president is somebody who will not just tell you what they think you want to hear, but will tell you what you need to hear, will tell you the truth. That's why I'm running for president of the United States of America. If you are ready for change, then we can finally have a foreign policy that once again recognizes there is no contradiction between our safety and security on the one hand and our moral standing in the world on the other. Those things are complementary. As Commander-in-Chief, my job will be to keep you safe. And I will do whatever is required. I won't hesitate to strike against those who would do us harm. But part of keeping you safe is maintaining the finest military on earth. And that means training our troops properly and equipping them properly and putting them on the proper rotations. And it means treating them properly when they come home by giving them the benefits and the honor and the respect that they deserve. No more homeless veterans, no more begging for disability payments, no more waiting to get in the VA. We have to do right by those who serve this country. But it also means deploying our military wisely. I opposed this war in Iraq from the start. I opposed this war because it was an unwise war. And I will bring this war to a close, and I will bring our troops home in 2009, because it's time the Iraqis stood up and negotiated an agreement. We will not have permanent bases and a permanent occupation of Iraq. We will no longer spend $9 billion a day, because we need to spend $9 billion here in the United States of America, rebuilding roads and bridges and schools and hospitals.